Hello, everyone. This is Cody Lee of BlackCatBooks.org, author of Eye of the Dragon, Cruel and Beautiful Rabbit Hole, Lore and Fray, and the upcoming Jaw of the Dragon. And it is time for another Rekieta retardation. It's been a while since we've done one. There's been a couple of things to talk about. I wanted to talk about, Ethan Ralph taking a massive W over Nick Rekieta. Ethan Ralph actually went into a courtroom, looked the judge straight in the eye, and managed to represent himself and win his case. I believe that means I believe what that means is that his ruling got him out of the whole Vickers situation and a year, 2 years of this stuff, 2-3 years of this, and Ethan Ralph is off scot-free, despite what Rekieta has said. I could tell you, I've said this over and over and over again, right? I've seen other people saying this. I don't think I coined the phrase, but I've been saying this for a long time. You can always count on Nick Rekieta to be wrong when it comes to legal proceedings. It's a big part of why he's moving away from legal content. It's a big part of why people are upset with him because he's not a very good lawyer. He's a mediocre streamer. Well, not even mediocre. He's a terrible streamer with no sense of no sense of shame regarding the subject matter he covers, no ability to kind of discern what is and what isn't going to happen in the legal world. And no, he doesn't really put any effort into improving. And I do think that is the thing that's really killing him at this moment, because at any point in the past 6 months, Nick could have righted the ship. He could have put in a lot more effort. He could have done more research. He could have really made content that really appealed to his audience. But no, all he wants to do is go on and complain about nothing for an hour and a half. Apparently just to fulfill his Rumble contracts. From what I understand, because he signed that contract with Rumble, he's obligated to stream a certain amount of hours a week, and that is really getting him. Really getting under his skin. It's clear that he can't handle any kind of set schedule. It's clear that he always has to be free to do whatever. He has to nonstop drink. He has to nonstop do drugs. He has to nonstop go on Jamaican vacations with his wife so they can go swinging. It's the same thing over and over and over again with him. He's shown no signs of improvement, and one of the reasons I haven't really talked about him a lot over the past couple of weeks is that I don't want to beat a dead horse, right? I don't want to say the same things that everyone else is saying. I don't want to repeat myself near constantly, but I do think it's been long enough now to kind of comment on certain happenings when it comes to the Nick Rekieta sphere and just see what's going on right now. I saw a couple of interesting videos from Alyssa Clips, and I really wanted to share them with you guys because I think they both really emphasize the problem that's going on with Nick Rekieta right now. So let's go ahead and look. Those pesky hate watchers. Oh no.
Watches longer.
Hang on, I didn't. That wasn't from the beginning. All right, let's go.
Hate watcher watches longer than the guy who likes you. This guy who likes you
Wrong. I watched hours and hours of Nick Rekieta content back when I still liked him, but now that I'm a hater, now that I'm a detractor, I resort to using clip channels and other methods of siphoning through the nonsense, right? I'm not sitting through 5 hours of Rekieta trying to convince us that he's not going to get a divorce from his wife, right? I'm just going to find someone who clipped it or clip it myself. I have a method of being able to scan Rekieta's videos and hit search for certain hot topic subjects. So I'm not actively sitting and watching 5-hour Rekieta streams. I don't watch Rekieta streams at all. Everything I'm doing these days is entirely just detractive channels, Alyssa Clips, our girl, hashtag, re-uploads from concerned individuals who are very, very upset about the way things are handled. I'm not hate watching Nick Rekieta. I'm not watching him at all. So right off the bat, within 6 seconds, this guy, Legal Mindset, who I suppose is the latest in the long line of Rekieta dick suckers, this guy is already trying to shill for Nick. Oh man, these guys have no life. They don't do anything other than watch Nick's channel, which they don't even like. It's embarrassing. It really is.
He kind of understands. He'll be back next week, whatever. Because he's foaming at the mouth with the popcorn and the butter. He's eating a stick of butter. He's It's something you watch every second.
Yeah, Kiwi Farms is based. Oh, okay. I hate saying Kiwi Farms is based because they were like the biggest Nick Dick suckers for a long time. Like I hated that Rekieta thread back in the day because there were people on there like noticing things about Nick in like the 2019-2020 period, but like so many people on Kiwi Farms like shouted them down. Like people thought it was like surprising that I predicted like the downfall of Nick Rekieta like a year and a half ago. There were plenty of people on Kiwi Farms who were like addressing this and like talking about it and really getting to like the nitty gritty of like the issues with Nick Rekieta, but like they were shouted down for a long time. Right? Like it's possible those people existed from the very beginning, but I just wasn't aware of them. I don't think I became aware of it until like 2019 or 2020. And by that point I was already like a Nick detractor myself. So Anyway, I don't associate with Kiwi Farms. I don't post there, but I'm aware of what Nick Rekieta's thread was like. It was the biggest dick sucking thing I've ever seen ever, and then it completely flipped after the Baldo thing, and Nick started going off the rails. Like when people couldn't like cover up for him anymore, that's when we started seeing this.
They're watching you, Drex. They're watching the entire stream. They're watching.
No, I'm not. It's a clip channel. See, I can prove it. It's a clip channel. Go fuck yourself, Drex. Go fuck yourself, Legal Mindset. Like I'm not watching the entire stream. Like I don't have time for that.
I love that these guys. This is a lot. I still get tagged in Sean, so
Yeah, sure.
there's people still trying to call me a groomer. Really?
Yeah, you are a groomer, Drex. We've been over this. It's been proven. You admitted it on stream several times. We know about how you groomed that girl when she was 13. I've addressed this. Other people have addressed it. Like it is concrete, like pretty much like universally accepted that you groomed that chick. And he's still in denial about this. Like, oh, I didn't do anything wrong. Sure, Drexel, sure.
And they don't give up. I mean, the only thing I do is I just ignore it, right? They try and it's like, don't really care. Like,
Yeah, he was not.
I don't think any of these legal YouTubers are in any way relevant. I think if you're like any way good at what you're doing, you'll distance yourself from Rekieta at some point, right? Like these guys are all just trying to latch on to like Rekieta's success. So I don't like, again, this is the same thing I have with Rekieta. Like if you're such a good lawyer, if you're so competent at like, explaining the law to people, like why are you not doing something else with your expertise? Why are you not like actually running a practice? Why are you not like actually taking on new cases? Why are you not like teaching? Why are you not like doing something other than YouTube? Like if you're a YouTube lawyer, and it doesn't matter what your political allegiance is, because I had the same problem with like Legal Eagle and a lot of these other guys from the beginning. Like to me, that just makes it sound like you're a complete incompetent buffoon, right? Like it makes it seem like you can't really succeed in any other factor of your life, of your career. And I'm sure that's the case with like all of these guys. Like I've seen a lot of these guest lawyers on Rekieta like make blatantly incorrect statements. Rekieta himself is of course the worst, but there are a lot of people I've seen like come out here make factually incorrect statements, like trying to like push a narrative and like spin things, and like legal LawTube should not exist is my firm belief after like seeing the decline of Nick Rekieta. Like it's just a mess, like it's just a bunch of people like sitting around collecting money to do nothing, and it really needs to stop. I think the audience really needs to understand that like no matter how big a YouTuber gets, they're still a YouTuber. They're never going to be relevant. They're never going to like influence these cases in any meaningful way. Like you're better off just following the case like independently. Honestly, they don't do very good coverage. They don't give a very good accurate representation of like how the case is going to end up. Like legal YouTubers are scum.
Literally, the punishment is you guys are a bunch of fucking losers.
Hey, look, Andrew, if you try to tag and you click something, you go like this. Oh, still, I just like this. I went right back to my Discord.
Well, put it this way.
He had to groom another chick, probably.
If you're an avatar, you're not showing your face.
You're a nobody.
What is with this angle? Like every single time, like, oh, you're not showing your face. You're a nobody. Bro, I've been doing these for like 3 years already? Like it's not a new thing I've been doing. And like, plenty of people don't show their face online. I would say like generally speaking, you shouldn't. For me personally, I'm like, with the way my life is set up, I don't really feel concerned about showing my face online. But, for most people, I think it's a good idea to keep like some degree of anonymity. I think it's a good idea to kind of protect your identity if you're in these kind of spheres and talking about these kind of topics, right? I think that is actually a pretty solid idea. If you're going to accuse this guy of being a pedophile, like you don't want him to know where you live, what you look like, what you drive, and like anything else about you, right? Like you don't want to get torn up. You don't want to get entangled in this situation where like, oh, maybe this results in like serious legal consequences for him, and like you get called in and like you get embroiled in this entire like conspiracy, kind of like what Mr. Vickers did, right? Like it's not something that most people want to do. Like they just want to come up, say you're a groomer. They want to say like Nick is doing a poor job like running his law tube channel, and that's it. Like they don't want to get all that involved with it. Like they just want to comment on like the decline of this channel that seemed to be like on its way to becoming one of the most successful channels on the platform. Like it's just a thing that everyone does. It's not just Nick. It's like every single person. Boogie went through this, Wings, DSP. Like it's not because like there's some agenda to try and like ruin Nick specifically. It's just like when your content goes downhill, when you stop making good stuff, like people are going to comment on it. And for Nick, that's been true since I think before even the Vic case even ended, or if it was even true to begin with. But I think in the Vic case, at the very least, you can argue that like he took initiative, he did stuff, he tried to be involved. I just. I don't know. I'm so conflicted on like where the drop off began. I'm so disgusted at myself for ever supporting this guy. But
right, like fucking that you are not worth being acknowledged. If you don't have no, let's see.
both Nick and Drex have commented on Rekieta retardations. By the way,
they're not tough guys. They listen.
Oh man, I'm not tough.
It's not their stuff. They all have the anime.
Oh no, I have an anime voice. I'm an anime protagonist. I'm going through my shonen journey to like become the greatest author in the world or some shit. The greatest Rekieta detractor. The biggest Rekieta hate channel in existence. That is, I am going to be the best there ever was or ever will be. The king of the anti-grifters, or Cody Lee, ace attorney destroyer or whatever. Like I'm an anime protagonist. Like I don't know. I don't see that as an insult, honestly. I find that endearing, actually. I love anime.
It's very loud, very very whiny. It sounds like the testicles drop.
Bro, you're defending Nick when you're saying this. You're defending Nick Rekieta of all people. Like, keep that in mind when we watch the other video, because like Rekieta's clearly just going off the deep end, and Drexel and everyone else involved is enabling it. This is one of the reasons I'm so disgusted with Drex, is that like Rekieta is clearly destroying his life with the stuff he's doing, with the swinging, with the drugs, with the alcohol, which is like the way he's running his channel, his legal practice. Like Drex is doing nothing. If anything, not only is he not doing it, he's enabling it. Like he is, I think, the person that is the root cause behind like everything that's happened. Is that like he's painted this narrative, this image of himself that seems so cool and just so like otherworldly and so beyond what Nick ever got. And when Nick tried to like pursue it himself, this legend of degeneracy, it just all collapsed, because like it's not realistic. Banging all these chicks, it doesn't make you a cool person. It's not something to be proud of, And I think Nick is kind of experiencing that for himself. Like he is experiencing the realities of living the Drexel lifestyle, how it like, causes friction with his life, with his wife, with causes him to not be there for his kids, causes him to be incapable of doing something simple, like doing simple research for the Rittenhouse interview, right? Like, it's just...
I like this. Drex, why do you groom us into knowing the truth?
Right? There's the thing, though, when you deal with people who are always trying to slander you, they call it, they're so cool.
Again, it's just like people have been coming after Nick for years. I mean, whether it was back in the older days, when the folks were coming out, Ethan Ralph, which I guess he mentioned friends with Ethan or whatever, those people are coming after him. Troons are coming after him. Farms comes after him. Whatever else comes after him. And he maintains such a good demeanor about it, despite all the shit he deals with.
It's fake. It's fake. If you haven't watched a ton of Nick, like the whole nice guy act is just like a facade to try and get people to like side with him, right? Like if you watch enough of him, you do start picking up on the fact that it's just like a deflection tactic to kind of like try to ignore like the very real fact that what a lot of these people are saying is very true to his current situation. Yes, I do believe his wife is leaving. Yes, I do believe he's living a miserable life. Yes, I do believe he's a trust fund kid who's never had to work in a day in his life. Because I've seen the symptoms of that for the past like 5 years, 4 years, I think. Like it's been obvious for a long time. And the thing is, the only thing that's changed, I think, is that more and more people are becoming aware of it. It's now like the majority instead of like there's the small group of, damage controlling shills. And they still exist, but like they are being, I think, I do think inevitably Nick is going to alienate these people and they are going to start turning on him, just like I am.
They're all fans. All the people who attack Nick were people who used to go, I love Nick. And then something happens. They go, I hate him. I got to destroy him. Really?
Yeah, because yeah, that is true. But there's a good reason for it. Like Nick probably fucked over Vic, right? Nick has done a lot of things that are shady and underhanded and really should be called out. I deeply respect everyone who's been going after Nick for the past couple of days. Anyone who's been calling out these legal YouTubers. How many times have I like said I love what Alyssa Clips is doing? Like no edits, no ridiculous thing, no commentary. Like all she does is re-upload clips of these guys coming up and like trying to damage control Nick, right? Trying to damage control the situation. And for the past like 6 months, it hasn't worked. For the past 6 months, it's been the same thing over and over and over again, where they just try and fail to convince you that Nick is winning, that he's successful, that like nothing you do bothers him, that you're just a loser, that you're a parasite, that you don't have anything meaningful to add, that you're just jealous of his success. Like the list goes on and on, right? You see like all these examples of like them trying to like justify Nick's behavior, but it is absolutely 100% not acceptable.
Because they used to love him and their God betrayed them, right? They're like,
He betrayed me. I got to expose him now.
they view themselves as like doing Warhammer. They're Horus from 40K, right? Why did my father betray me? Just stuff.
Why are they all like big Warhammer fans?
Destroyed Nick and Drex. What did I miss? And also for the haters, Drex. Now, if you've not heard the full story, these haters are a bunch of lonely babies. I don't even like to acknowledge that. My own thing is like just literally to ignore it, but. Like I said, people are always going to hate you. My good friend Rich Cooper always says, the bomber is over the target and you're getting black. And you're going to get black when you're talking truth. And Bob Johnson said it earlier, I put Bob. He said, it's really best when you're getting shit from the right and the left. Then you're really being independent. When you're getting fucking fire from both sides, when you're not falling into one camp or another. Because nothing that we've said today.
Yeah, just be a base centrist, bro. Don't stand for anything. Don't do anything. Just be a centrist. That's how you know you're truly based. Like,
it's popular with big conservative or big liberal. They don't like any of this shit. And here's my ultimate thing, guys. We're on the fucking internet. You choose what you consume. Why are people so goddamn obsessed with hating on people when you can just stop watching?
Stop watching.
And what it is it's exactly what you said earlier. They want them to change. These are people that used to love them and they want them to change. And that's just not what's going to happen. You're not going to do that by hating on them, by trolling them or whatever else. That's not going to get them to change. And certainly they're not going to go anywhere. You're not going to blow them out or whatever, like that extra hateful comment you drop in the chat. It's not going to put them over the edge.
I wouldn't be so sure about that. Nick is a lot more unstable than I think a lot of these guys are. Than a lot more. Is a lot more unstable than a lot of these guys are really implying. They really want to like make you think that like Nick is on top of his game, that he's super successful, that like he's doing this and this, that he's still like the guy. But like that's not been true for like 6 months now. Like ever since like the YouTube ban, I would say it's just been like a downward spiral. There's all this stuff, and it's only a matter of time until we get something that just destroys the channel. And my guess this is an official Nostradamus prediction. I do think it's going to be a YouTube TLS thing. Like, I do think that like Rekieta is going to be driven off YouTube completely, and he's going to have to rely on Rumble. He's going to have to rely on locals. He's going to have to like rely on that ecosystem, and that is a big circle jerk, right? That is just like the biggest bunch of like, dick suckers imaginable. But like, it's a very closed garden. Right? Like, it's not like YouTube where he's like constantly getting new subs, getting new viewers. Like, he's going to be reliant on the same group of like 5,000 people just giving him money like endlessly. And eventually those people are going to drop off, right? Like, already, I think I'm not an expert on locals. I've never been in the chat. But what I understand reading Kiwi Farms is that there's a lot of factions in there that are always like fighting about like what they want, like, Daddy Nick to acknowledge them, or what they want of the nut cover, or like the weird rivalries. Like, I don't know exactly what's going on. I don't know anybody in locals, right? Like, I don't know anything about that. But my expectation is that like eventually that will implode too. Like, I don't know how, because I don't know anything about how locals works, but like that's going to happen, and it's going to completely destroy everything he's built up for the past 5 years. And the reality is, like, all he has is the YouTube channel. Like, the business is done. He's never going to be a lawyer again. He might be facing serious legal repercussions for some of the stuff he's done, which I don't think I've talked enough about. I predicted some time ago that like Monograph would win his case, and it seems like that's actually looking more and more likely. I remember when people like saw that and thought I was being ridiculous, but I was being completely 100% genuine, and it seems to be going in that direction. I do think there's a good chance that Monograph and David Snyder are going to completely like bend Nick over like his bar in his house and just fuck him raw. Like, I do think it's going to happen. It's going to be incredible. But all right. How can you look at this guy's face and think that like, oh man, that's a well-adjusted individual. That's someone who's like hyper successful, enjoying life. Like, it's been a complete train wreck for like the past year and a half, right? And it's so like evident if you look at this guy's face and his behavior and stuff like that things are going downhill in his private life. And snippets of that we've seen in like online. We know about like the hedonism, we know about the swinging, we know about like Kayla, and like how it really does come off like she's kind of a thought. We know about like some of this stuff that happens. We don't have the full picture, but like, does this man look like he's happy to you? Does he look like he's like a hotshot YouTube lawyer who's raking in like millions? Like, no, like this guy is just done with life. He's done with streaming. He hates having to work. This entire video is about that, actually.
Everything is social media shit. So, she made $5,000 off of it. Just had surgery, recovering. Maybe she realized that during the
Hang on, I think I screwed up my sound settings. Hopefully it's not too bad. I thought it was fine with the Drexel stuff, but
surgery and her recovery time that she didn't really want to post anymore. But you know what? Like, to be brutally candid with you guys, leading up to the Philly trip, I was almost to the point of never wanting to stream again.
I know. Oh no, he couldn't handle being a lawyer, and now being a streamer is too much work. It's too hard to like boot up a camera and like watch a movie on Amazon Prime. It's too hard to like watch him stream video games, right? Like, don't you have like 3 Switches? Like, you bragged to me once about how you had 3 Switches. Like, don't you have any games for them? Like, can't you talk about like actual, legal stuff? Like, there's all this like classic legal cases you could cover. There's all this interesting like subject matter you can do, all this experimental stuff on top of the stuff you're already doing, like the talk show stuff. You could like expand to new guests. There are like countless other YouTubers you could partner with and have on the show and promote and talk about. Like, there's all these directions you could take the streaming career in, but no, streaming is too much work. It's too much. It's too hard. I can't do it. It takes too much time. I just want to go on vacations and watch other men fuck my wife. Like, come the fuck on, Nick. Come on.
It was
to get on stream sometimes. Because I know it sounds.
This has been going on for a long time, by the way, because I noticed, when was this? 2019, probably. Like, I have seen him, like, force himself through streams before. Like, he just looks dead tired. And back in the day, like, I thought he was doing, like, real legal work. Like, I thought he was, like, doing the YouTube stuff on the side. So I thought that was, like, kind of admirable that he was, like, working 8 hours a day or whatever. And then, like, coming on and talking about, like, other legal topics. I thought that was, like, really cool. Like, I really thought he was like an actual practicing attorney, but that's not true at all. Like, now he's not even like a real practicing streamer because he won't stream as much as he used to.
Weird, because in theory, streaming is, and in reality, streaming is the greatest job. I can't think of anything else I'd rather do. But,
Nothing else has its little low standards. It's like streaming. I talk shit about like Uber drivers and like DoorDash people and stuff like that. I call those people like the scum of the earth. I think streamers are worse. I really do.
matter when you're beaten down and tired, and you have to. I know this like sounds whiny, but it's not intended to. It might be whiny, but it's not intended to sound whiny. Like they don't want to get away with the secret. Anything that you do, there's one side of it that is kind of the joy side, which is talking. I enjoy talking. I love having interaction, and I love all of that. But on the other side, there's a shitload of prep work that goes into everything.
He doesn't do prep work. We established this with the Rittenhouse trial, where he didn't know, like, with the Rittenhouse interview, he didn't know, like, critical details about, like, what Rittenhouse was doing, about, like, what his post-trial life was like, what his, like, there were, like, certain things he asked Rittenhouse. Rittenhouse, I think, was, like, the moment where it was clear to me, and it clear to a lot of other people, that, like, Nick doesn't prepare trial streams at all. And he is never going to make a return to form, right? He is never, ever going to make a comeback after that. Like, that was his one chance to bring back, like, all of his fans that he lost over the Baldo thing and, like, everything he's been doing since. But now he's, like, doubling down on this. Like, oh, I don't want to do research. I don't want to, like, look into all these trials. I don't want to, like, do this or that. Like, I just want to have fun. I just want to talk. I want to have my 15 years of fun. Like, that's Nick right now. He's so unbelievably whiny about, like, his career choice. And let it be clear that this is his choice. He wasn't forced into streaming. He wasn't forced into legal work. He wasn't forced to get that creative writing degree that he doesn't use. By the way, I have more books published than he does. Fuck you, Nick. He could have gotten a more useful degree. He could have gotten into a field he actually enjoyed. But, oh, man, that would be too much work. Oh, that would cut into my, like, time watching other men fuck my wife. Like, come the fuck on, Nick. Like,
there's a whole bunch of things that have to happen for every show, and scheduling everything out and planning.
He always, like, emphasizes the schedule, and I think a big part of that is, like, he's just doing a bunch of drugs, he's drinking a lot, and he's simply not available for, like, 90% of the week. I think he confirms in this video that he, like, streams a total of, like, what was his schedule? Like, I think in total he streams, like, 48 hours a month. Right? I think I saw that figure posted somewhere. I don't know if it was in this video or another. Like, this fucker works less in a month than I do in a week. Like, what? Like, how are you complaining about not having no? I've said this before. He is the new James Rolfe, right? It's the same exact thing with him. Like, oh, I don't have the time. I can't do this. The scheduling. The reality is that he doesn't want to do it. Like, that is the real problem behind, like, his scheduling and, like, his inability to be, like, to stream or, like, make content or cover legal matters. It's like he's not interested in doing it. He doesn't care to
have guests and dealing with all of the context stuff. And the more successful you are at it, the more people look for your attention. And I don't mean fans. I mean, like, advertisers and
his advertisers are pure garbage, by the way.
And people trying to sell you a product to improve your streaming or to improve your results or to do this. And every one of those things comes with fucking extra content, extra work. we love that you're going to try out our product. Now we need an hour of your time. Like, fucking what? Like, just give me the damn product so I can try it out. It's always something extra, and each one of those things piles it on. And over the past year, well, if you make this,
How much does he make on advertisers? It's always kind of confused me how he was like shilling like cheap Chinese knives and stuff like that. I've never done a partnership stream. I never intend to. I'm very dead set against the idea. But like, I don't know. It just seems like, why would you ever promote products that you don't actually use? I don't know. I just find it weird.
been great. The amount of extra things has added up and added up and added up. And you don't want to do most of them, right?
Yeah, he doesn't want to do anything.
With NCC stuff. The couple things that you could like offload that to someone, right? Like you could hire someone to take on that other shit or whatever. You could
Yeah. He has not been able to hire an editor. He's not been able to hire like anyone to like manage the channel or like do certain things. And like honestly, it's like the antithesis to what James Rolfe did, right? Because James Rolfe like hired the first people who came around, a Screenwave, and they were, the slobs were completely terrible. Like Nick seems unwilling to like hire anybody at all, and he doesn't seem willing to like give them any direction. I believe he did hire an editor, but he was like very vague about what he wanted the editor to do. Like he's so unwilling to work, he can't even like tell the people he hires what he wants them to do. It's like very just odd in his behavior.
like you could have someone to talk to advertisers about guests. But then you've got a couple problems. One, if you have someone else talk to your advertisers, then you're advertising bullshit. And there are plenty of people out there who advertise bullshit. I try to personally endorse each product that I advertise. I try to think about food. I want to try it. If they let me give me the information, I will. If they won't do it, I don't always do the thing. I don't always do it. Although it was fun. Although it was fun.
Oh yeah, you can tell. You can tell he just lights up whenever the conversation just turns over to the Baldo. Like every single time. Like you see this happen every stream these days is that like he's bored as shit. He's just getting through the days, and then like someone mentions sex and his eyes just light up. He feels alive being able to talk about sex, probably because he's never ever actually had it. Like that is that is Nick Rekieta right now. Like the ultimate Coomer. It's insane. It's absolutely like ludicrous.
And I didn't try Baldo before advertising. I just talked about it.
Wait, what?
It was fun. And I didn't try Baldo before advertising. I just talked about it. I said, what's ridiculous? He gave me
Wait. He used the Baldo, right?
an affiliate. But I never did any ad spots for Baldo. The only thing that had
I thought he did. Okay, I'm gonna have to like go through the deep lore on this, but like I'm pretty sure he fucked Lady Rackets with her. I know I just got done making fun of him for like not having sex, but I thought he said he did. I don't know. I'm probably getting my time fine because I thought he said it was like Drexel's. I don't know. I might be misremembering. I don't.
Baldo was the affiliate link where I got like 5% of each sale. So every time Baldo sold, I got like $6. Except when they were on sale, I got like $3. But all of that stuff just piled up. In fact, I have like 8 meetings that I have to do.
Oh wow, 8 whole meetings.
Just one fucking do.
Oh no.
Some of them I have to. Other ones.
Don't normal lawyers meet about that many people like a day? That's pretty typical for them. Like, it's not that weird, bro. Like, come on. It's part of the job. Like, just deal with it.
I should. And it's just a disaster.
If you don't like it, don't structure your business that way. I'm not doing it. Like, I'm selling my own products. Like, it's not something I wanted to do, so I never went in that direction. But, like, Nick, like, will take any money thrown at him. Like, he'll read super chats. He'll, like... advertise anything, sex toys, stream Raid Shadow Legends, which I think is like the lowest of the low thing a streamer could possibly do. Like, just like have some standards. Like, if you don't want to like read products, just don't do it. Like, what's the big deal? Like, just go back to your day job. Like, do some more legal work. What's the problem?
And so whenever anybody messages me or sends me an email that says, "Shane, did you like they message me?" I'm not calling you out, by the way. I'm not calling you out, but the first send me a message. Did you get my email? Yeah, but I might not have read it, or I don't know if I got it because it's a different name on here than you on the email or whatever. But in reality, most of the time, like, I don't want to do any of that.
He doesn't want to do any work.
So far off my
Work is so beneath me. I'm a trust fund kid. I've never had to work my life.
Reviewing a thing, or looking at stuff, or whatever. And a lot of people send me stuff that, like, I appreciate the effort, but a lot of people send me stuff that isn't at all what I, not only is it not what I want, but I didn't ask for it in the first place. And it's like, they'll send you a bunch of stuff that's super well intentioned, but also, like, what am I supposed to do with it? What if you don't like it? Like, that's really tough. When someone puts a lot of work into something, and they say, "Yeah, I send you something," you're like, thanks.
I don't know. If I was him, I wouldn't like talk about these kind of behind the scenes issues. I've been thinking about this a lot lately. How like little I personally like talk about like the realities of like operating blackcatbooks.org, how much it costs, like what the messages I get from people, the feedback, like what's popular, what's not, like the YouTube channel, what the numbers I get for that, the analytics, the sales for the books. I don't think I've ever formally announced how much any of my books have sold. Like there's a reason for that. Like it's not the audience's business. So why exactly are you wasting time? If you're so busy, why are you spending so much time like ragging about like how hard it is to like find the time to work essentially? Like you're just putting it off.
I don't want this. I don't like doing that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to like tell someone that they did something and I don't like it. Or I hate it. Oh, well, here's a design you could use to sell merchandise. And I look at it and go, it's not even bad. It's just not me at all. This doesn't make sense. So those types of things, I don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy telling people no. That's the bunch of stuff. And then, like before Philly, I was really piling on.
He went on a vacation.
Rumbleship.
It's
Expectations. It's so weird because the amount of shows that have to each month is very, very manageable. But if you're tired a couple days, like over a couple weeks or
oh man, imagine being tired. Oh man.
If you're being down, you take like a day off, a couple weeks, and then you take 5 days off. Suddenly, the very manageable requirement of shows becomes, oh my god, I have to do this many shows to make sure I get time. Again, it all just kind of piles up, and that's a bunch of pressure.
Well, here's what you do. You don't go on vacation, Nick. It's like stop with these like multi-day long trips. Like it's insane how much this guy travels. Like all the trips he takes, everywhere he goes. Like just stay where you are and make money. What's the big deal?
So this year, I haven't really had that same pressure because I didn't have a contract. So now, of course, I have a contract, which is awesome in a lot of ways, but it's also an obligation that I have to fulfill in certain things.
Yeah, I've heard about the Rebel contract. He's not happy with it.
Just have to do this. I don't have the autonomy that I had before. So then, that just all that shit kind of built up. And there's also you have to find topics. So it doesn't matter what else you have to do to because you have to get in front of the camera to talk. And you have to talk about something. I don't know if you guys have ever tried to just talk for 3 hours. It isn't easy.
I've done like 12 13-hour streams. Go fuck yourself, Nick.
It isn't easy at all. And people who end up trying it, just talking to your own face with no feedback from anybody else for 3 hours is a really difficult thing to do.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
I'm not saying it's difficult for me in general. I tend to be okay just following through whatever. Because God decided to curse the rest of the world by me being retarded enough to just talk. But it still is sitting down and figuring out what you're going to talk about. Because occasionally you can do a show where you just sit down and bullshit for 3 hours. Usually, you can't do that too much. You can't do that too often.
Yeah, because people would call you out. Like, I remember when he would, like, do those, like, 1 hour long intros. Like, there would be something critical that would happen in, like, a trial he was covering or something, and he would spend, like, an hour just coming on stream and just trying to, like, bullshit about, like, what he had for lunch and, like, something that happened to him that day. And, like, I've seen people, like, criticize him for this. Like, he doesn't manage his time well at all. Like, it would be like if I, like, made this video and I was just like, okay, like, 40 minutes from now we'll get to the Nick and Drexel stuff, just let me, like, plug all these books. Like, no, I'll never do that. But Nick has to, like, bullshit about nothing, like, all the time.
Otherwise, it's like, okay, well, what is the show? What is this? So you gotta try and focus on it. And finding them. There's so much bullshit. And the way that news is curated these days, especially when you talk about a kind of niche subject of law, it's kind of hard to find legal news, especially if you don't look for it intentionally as part of your leisure. The shit I look for as part of my leisure is like, you know, I'll look at video game stuff, go out to Dungeons and Dragons, I'll check up on girls in bikinis because apparently they can't figure it out tonight. And, that's what
Oh, man.
curated.
Lady Rackets is going to have, like... Lady Rackets is going to destroy this guy when she finally divorces his ass. It's going to be great.
My curated news is also I like to look at. Going to find topics to talk about. None.
I don't understand. I don't like how he like talks about other women on stream. Like, I think that's disrespectful to his wife. Like, is that just me, or is that just, does anyone else feel that way? I very strongly feel that that's just no.
At all.
Like, I would not do it. I'm not married, but like I think even for like girls I'm with, I tend to like not talk about it as much if I'm in like a relationship. It's just you know, I think that's you have to respect who you're with.
Like a different app has built a different algorithm through it to try and have news served to me that's relevant. So like people are like, did you see this? Did you see this? Did you see this? And I'm like, well, no, I didn't. I wish I did. I wish I saw that easily, but my news feed didn't give it to me.
Okay, the news feed is irrelevant. You have like what, like how many subscribers does he have? Like over 200,000 by this point, I'm sure. Like I don't even know, probably 500,000. I don't think it's quite a million, but like you have like thousands of people sending you like interesting legal topics to talk about. You know, not even legal topics, like anything you could possibly cover. You know, whether it's video games or like manga, anime, like all these like fringe issues. You have anything that you can talk about is being sent to you immediately. You don't need a news feed. That's a load of crap. Like even I get like, you know, news articles like posted on my Discord all the time. It's not that big of a deal. Like, come on.
And I can't stand to be on Twitter anymore. I hate it.
Yeah, Twitter is shit. I agree.
I miss all of these things until I go and like search them out. So it is really helpful when I see people asking about specific topics because then I know, oh, something happened in this thing. People are like, what's the next trial you're going to cover? I don't know. My news feed doesn't tell me what trials even exist anymore. As for trials, says you make $1 million a year if you stream trials. That's true. Probably would. Streaming trials is
is he not making $1 million? Like, I don't know. Like, his numbers don't make any sense to me. Like, they really don't. Like, maybe it's just me coming from like a poor background. I kind of like have this tendency to think things are a lot more expensive than they actually are. But like, I thought he was clearing $1 million like a while ago. But he always talks like he's not quite making that much, and I just
One of the most all-around beneficial things I can possibly do, and I never have time for it. I never have time for it at all.
no time because of my kids, because of my trips. Like, holy crap! Like, what a joke! Oh man. So, what do we learn from this video, guys? Like, what did we learn? Nick has no time for anything. He can't research. He doesn't want to do anything. He's a lazy bum. Streaming is hard work. Apparently, what a complete joke. I can't be the only one who thinks that, right? That like, streamers complaining about like how hard their lives are is like one of the most pathetic things I've ever seen in my life. Like, these guys have got it made. I don't understand why more of them don't just like work normal jobs and then like stream on the side, because maybe you would want to like stream more when like you're first getting started, but like Nick, theoretically, he should just be able to stream on the weekends and like make everything he wants to make. Like, that's what I would do if I was him. Like, scale everything back, do like a weekly show, and then like you're golden, right? Because like there aren't a lot of updates like in the legal world that require you to like do shows daily, right? So just like do a weekend show like every Friday, every Saturday, every Sunday, something like that, right? And just talk about whatever's happening, and then just go ahead and live your normal life, right? Actually work, actually do stuff with your family. Like, Nick's not doing any of that. Like, he's just complaining about how hard everything is. It's just like, really? Like, really? It's just really weird to me. I don't respect it at all. I think more people really need to start calling this guy out on his nonsense. I am not happy with Nick Rekieta whatsoever.